When we picture ruthless corporate monopolies, we usually imagine Silicon Valley tech giants guarding proprietary software code. We rarely look at the agricultural sector, where living organisms are locked down with the same level of aggression. This photograph shows a sliced Pinkglow pineapple, a biologically altered fruit engineered to produce a vivid pink interior. It is a highly specialized commodity, with early iterations selling for up to $400 apiece. If you purchase one of these, you will notice something missing. The fruit is deliberately shipped with its top leafy crown severed. Without that crown, a consumer has no physical way to replant and propagate the genetics at home. Even if a farmer managed to acquire the seeds or plant tissue, cultivating the fruit without explicit corporate authorization triggers immediate legal action. Between the physical mutilation of the product and the threat of crushing litigation, this is arguably the most biologically and legally restricted fruit in human history. To understand why a fruit company operates with this level of paranoia, we have to look back to the 1990s. These commercial boxes labeled Del Monte Gold represent the MD2, a sweet yellow pineapple that dominates supermarkets today, born from a massive 30-year research and development project. At the time of the MD2's launch, the corporation made a highly costly error. They brought the fruit to market without securing an airtight, globally enforceable patent portfolio. In this image, we see workers packing Dole-branded pineapples, a direct result of that vulnerability. Competitors and local farmers realized they could simply snap the crowns off the commercial MD2 pineapples, plant them in the ground, and capture the market with identical genetics. By the early 2000s, the secret was completely out. Del Monte lost their exclusive monopoly over a multi-million-dollar investment as identical sweet pineapples flooded the global supply chain. The extreme restrictions placed on the Pinkglow today are a direct overcorrection to that historical loss. The corporation engineered a defense system to ensure a leak of that scale never occurs again. The Pinkglow was developed over 15 years. Scientists extracted genes from tangerines and inserted them into the pineapple's DNA, manipulating the enzymes to accumulate lycopene, the exact pigment that makes tomatoes red and gives this flesh its pink color. Protecting this investment relies on a multi-tiered defense. The first layer is a physical, biological mandate. Every single crown is systematically removed from the fruit prior to export, physically disabling the consumer's ability to grow it. We can map this defense system visually. On top of the physical lock, we find a secondary layer of strict legal protection. Del Monte secured distinct United States utility and plant patents, classifying the exact DNA sequence of the Pinkglow as a highly guarded trade secret. Relying solely on patents presents a logistical problem. International patent enforcement across foreign borders is notoriously slow, and litigating against dozens of small, independent farms is an expensive, inefficient process. A severed crown and a stack of patent filings are insufficient to stop international agricultural theft. To secure total control, the corporation engineered a third, far more ruthless layer of protection. Looking at the vast scale of this plantation infrastructure in Costa Rica, we see the exclusive geographic staging ground for the entire Pinkglow operation. The corporation found a highly effective loophole in local law. They legally registered the Pinkglow as a genetically modified organism, but strictly for export. They deliberately chose not to register the fruit for local consumption in the country where it is grown. This flowchart illustrates the legal trap. Because the fruit is an unapproved GMO for local markets, any unlicensed farmer growing it is classified as a national biosafety threat. Bypassing slow copyright litigation, the process routes directly to an immediate environmental offense. The corporation successfully turned a sovereign nation's environmental protection laws into its own taxpayer-funded private enforcement arm. Del Monte does not have to hire private investigators to police local fields. The Costa Rican Department of Agriculture executes the raids and physically destroys the unauthorized crops on the company's behalf. This enforcement apparatus is highly active. Government investigations into unlicensed cultivation and seedbed distribution have recently spread across borders into neighboring Nicaragua. While local governments handle small-scale farmers, the corporation aggressively pursues larger rivals who attempt to bypass the system and export proprietary genetics to the United States. This dynamic culminates in federal courts, like the Wilkie D. Ferguson Jr. courthouse seen here. where Del Monte filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the Costa Rican farm Inprotsa for continuing to grow and sell exclusive pineapple varieties. Between immediate international biosafety raids burning down local crops and crushing federal lawsuits in the United States, the intellectual property fortress surrounding this fruit is completely impenetrable. Inside this corporate legal fortress, a stark reality exists on the ground. Local farmers living adjacent to these plantations are legally barred from eating, growing, or selling a fruit cultivated in their own native soil. The Pinkglow is an agricultural luxury good exported exclusively for the global elite, and its entire supply chain relies on an ecosystem of complete biological and legal deprivation for the local population. We are watching the ultimate financialization of nature. The living DNA of a plant is now treated with the exact same proprietary aggression, licensing, and lockdown procedures as a piece of enterprise tech software. If a multinational corporation can successfully patent living genetics and weaponize a foreign nation's environmental laws for private profit, we have to ask what part of the global food system gets fenced off next.